Mad, bad and dangerous to know, George Gordon was born in London in 1788 and is a key poet in the Romantic movement, despite slating pretty much every other poet going, except Shelley, of course, who was his best friend. Wordsworth was boring, Coleridge was pretty good, and Keats was mental masturbation. Nice. His first book received bad reviews, and he published a response that was so insulting that several of his critics challenged him to a duel. His writing, however, fits squarely into the Romantic ideas, especially the appreciation of nature, the importance of imagination, and the expression of strong emotions. The life story of someone whose father was actually called Captain Mad Jack Byron is never going to be a dull one. His father married 2 women for their fortunes and consequently bankrupted both of them. His first wife died after his vicious treatment of her and having given birth to 2 girls. His second wife was Lord Byron's mother. Even after they separated, Byron's father would constantly ask his mother for money. George became a baron and subsequently was called Lord Byron, aged 10, when his uncle, known as the Wicked Lord Byron, died. He did actually take this part of his life seriously for a time. He actually wanted to be a politician first rather than a poet, and he campaigned against a bill in Parliament that would have made it illegal to break mechanical looms. He tried to make the politicians understand that the people who were breaking these machines were doing so because they were losing their jobs, and without any kind of benefit system, this made them desperate. This is a central idea to the Romantic movement, sympathy for the common man, so it showed that Byron held that idea as really important. Unfortunately for Byron at the time, this political career didn't last very long. He was disabled, having been born with a club foot, and his political rivals used this to describe him as the devil. The proof being that he had a cloven hoof. He was very sensitive about his disability, and when he was at school he would often get into violent fights to prove that he wasn't weak because of it. He released a poem called Childe Harold's Pilgrimage about an aristocrat's travel, and that made him a celebrity, and this went very much to his head. He was famous for being incredibly good-looking. Coleridge described his face as beautiful and said his eyes were the open portals of the sun. Byron became very aware of this and was very careful to keep this image intact, often commanding pictures and portraits that he didn't like to be destroyed. His famous good looks led to a prolific career as a lover. He told one of his lovers that he cannot exist without some object of love, and he was never shy about admitting to relationships with both women and men. One of his lovers, Lady Caroline Lamb, declared that he was mad, bad and dangerous to know, and shortly after he ended their relationship, she tried to stab herself. He did get married to Annabella, but she eventually left him and filed for divorce, which was especially hard for a woman at that time, saying that he was actually insane and telling the court that she couldn't stop him from having affairs. She took their daughter, incidentally this was Ada Lovelace, who became a mathematician who is widely credited for writing the theory that led to the invention of the computer. And Byron left England forever after this scandal. After leaving England, he travelled the Mediterranean, and his close friends, Percy Bysshe Shelley and his wife Mary, would visit him. It was while staying at his villa in Italy that they decided to write ghost stories, and Mary came up with the idea for Frankenstein. In his later life, Byron became very involved with the Greek Revolution. Again, the romantic idea of the common man being the hero and tyranny being the villain. He supported the revolution when Greece wanted to become an independent country and leave the Ottoman Empire. He paid for their entire fleets to be fitted out and armed, but died of illness when they were about to attack. He's still hailed as a hero in Greece.